babes, and I'm here today to interview my good friend Stephanie Inge. Stephanie is the author of a book called The Meetup Organizer Step-by-Step Success Guide. Stephanie created the first ever local group for eBay sellers through using the eBay discussion board. And then in 2005, when she learned about Meetup, she created the first Meetup group, the Dallas eBabes and emails. She's hosted many live events and classes in the Dallas area. Most recently, she's hosted some Poshmark meet and greets and classes. In 2002, she created her own job by reaching out to local colleges, and she's taught at many local colleges in the area eBay class. And she's now going to be expanding on that and teaching eBay, Etsy, and Poshmark through the local colleges there. And I met Stephanie in Boston 2007 because we both like to go to eBay events, and we met at that event. If I remember right, that's the event that Stephanie sold an ad space on her forehead to pay her expenses to get to eBay Boston. And we became friends, and through the power of social media and the many live events, oh, my cat just walked in, and the many live events, we've kept in contact and we've become really good friends. And Stephanie, in 2015, was the co-organizer of the first annual Sea Commerce Cruise. And the organizer ended up stepping down, and Stephanie became the organizer that year, and she's been the organizer ever since. I've been her co-organizer since then. We've done a couple of cruises. We've done a couple of small all-inclusive resorts, and we're going to be going to Jamaica in July. We'll talk more about that later. But anyway, that was a long introduction. I didn't think it was going to be that long. So welcome, Stephanie. We're here to talk about event planning. And go ahead and tell us a little bit more there.
Well, I know a local travel agent, Steve Cosgrove. I really don't remember how we first met, but I learned about him on a travel show he does on the radio. It's syndicated, so it's not like a live broadcast. But anyway, it was very interesting, and I reached out to him. Um, it wasn't about travel, I don't think. I think it was about how I could start my own radio uh, syndication.
Okay.
Like I could, really do that with my voice. But anyway, we became friends, and then he somehow became interested in eBay, and one thing led to another, and the next thing I knew, he was trying to get me to be a speaker on some of the cruises he organized. And none of those ever came to fruition, but in the interim, he started telling me about the benefits of organizing a cruise. And he knew about my meetup group. So he said, look, you got a built in audience. You got to think about this. And so Joyce Banbury, who's the one that came up with the idea of maybe doing a cruise, she posted on Facebook. And so I immediately pounced on that because I had the information like right on the tip of my tongue. So I reached out to her and shared with her what I knew. And so she said, great, I want you to be my co-organizer. So that's pretty much how that happened. And actually, we got Steve to be our agent since he's one that had kind of educated me. And I actually did most of the legwork because I knew what to do at that point. And so the first things we had to do as co-organizers is we had to decide on a date, a ship, itineraries, and port of disembarkation, which is where you leave from in plain English.
Mhm.
So at that time, Joyce has since passed, God rest her soul. She lived in Kansas. I live in Dallas, both centrally located. So we decided on New Orleans as our port of disembarkation. Then we had to decide the duration of the cruise. So she decided 5 days. And 5 days is very limiting, at least on the ports that we were looking at. It only gave us two ports to visit, and they weren't that desirable, but we had never been on a cruise, so they were more desirable than, you know,
Then
nothing.
staying the same and not doing.
Yeah, more desirable than going to Kansas or Dallas.
Right.
So, anyway, New Orleans is a great, party city, and so we actually planned like a little kickoff party and stuff, which is a great place to leave from. And so that's how we wound up there. We really didn't know a lot about the ships, and so we were looking at cheap pricing. So we found a ship. It was the Elation. After we decided on this, we found out it was one of the ones stranded out in the Caribbean. Oh my God. We
So
got
one
repercussions.
tip is don't shop by price only when looking for a cruise.
Yes, and not, you have a lot more options with 7 day cruises than you do with 5 days. So to me, duration was really important. You want to select a city that is going to be somewhat economical for everyone to get to. So if you pick East or West Coast, keep in mind that if you're going out of Florida, the people in California, it may cost them an arm and a leg, and it may take them quite a while to get there. So be mindful of like where you're leaving from.
Yeah, that's good to know.
And as far as the ship, research the ship and see how old it is, when the last time it was got an update, how many people it will accommodate, and what the amenities are,
Mhm.
because that's important. And another thing I've learned, there are a lot of Carnival diehards, and the reason is the more they cruise on Carnival, the more freebies they get. They get free upgrades, they get free this and free that, and it's cheaper than most. And
Mhm.
so there's a lot of, cost conscious people. But again, you can do it um, for the cost conscious, but just don't go the cheapest of the cheap, because we do get what we pay for.
Right, right.
So,
And Carnival is the party ship, and if you are going for some peace and quiet, you may not want to be on Carnival.
and I mean, uh, it wasn't all that, I mean, it didn't. I don't remember partying that much. There's places to get away if you're not a partier. Yeah, but we had a fun time. But
Right,
there's always going to be people that don't
right.
want to party. There's
We
some,
usually party all day and we fall asleep about 9 o'clock at night.
but the good thing about the ships is there's something for everybody. Uh,
Yeah.
Another thing is, you know, people have to select, at least on most ships, still standard procedure as far as I know, and based on my experience, that you select an early or late dinner. There are some ships that have freestyle, but the ones we have been on were assigned dinner seating. And there's good and bad things about that. When you're going as a group, I think one of the benefits is that is a great time for networking and bonding, because we all sit together. So no one feels left out.
Yep.
And as far as the speakers go, we found out after the first year that having the speakers rotate tables each night gives everybody a chance to feel like they're getting to know, you know, hobnob with the important, but they consider them, the VIPs. Uh, so, and they want a chance to hang out and pick their brains, so to speak. So that was important. Um,
Yeah, and we had with the cruise, when you're a smaller, a smaller audience, you can get some really good one-on-one time with your mentor that's there.
right.
We have hot tub time, beach time, many so many times to get together with them.
So going back to duration, the 5 versus the 7,
Yep.
it's really going to depend on where you're going and where you're going out of. But typically on a 7-day cruise, we've had 3 at-sea days. And so we plan the conference or the meetings, if it's just a group cruise, on our at-sea days. We found that people don't want to be in class every day, so we have two conference days and one free day, so people can enjoy the pool. If you go in the winter, don't have the first day the free day because you're still going to be in frigid temperatures until you reach the warm tropics. So make the free day the last day
There you
or in
the
between day.
middle day or something. Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as like being in port, we kind of let everybody do their own thing because I can't tell you how chaotic it is to try and plan something for everyone. Everybody wants to do something different. We all have different tastes. Some people are beach people, some people are shoppers, some people are sightseers. You can't please them all. So
Yeah.
just let them be on their own. On the, if they want to come hang out with you, that's fine.
Yeah.
But
And we
we
and we have planned a couple of very successful events. We met with Lance Wolf and Barrington McIntosh in Jamaica, and met with them one day. And then in Puerto Rico, when Brad DeGraw lived
oh
there,
yeah,
he taught a class, and we had a half a day class in Puerto Rico that day. So
and so those were good. But there was one day in Jamaica that uh, we it was when we met Barrington and Lance, and some of us wanted to hang out and just network and talk to them because they are just a wealth of knowledge. And
mhm.
the scenery was great, and everybody else was wanting to go shopping or to Dunn's River Falls. So I'm going, go.
Yeah,
There's
and we had your friends that own the tour bus company. We had two different tour buses, and they took one group shopping, and they took one group to Dunn's River Falls, and then
right.
the rest of us stayed and networked. It
Yeah,
was
we just kind of met back up, so that worked out.
yeah.
And then one
What
thing to
well, I
consider,
was gonna say, if you can talk about the conference rooms, like
right?
how,
That's
like,
exactly where I was
is
getting
that
ready
what
to
you
go.
were getting to? Like, how
So,
do you get that for a cruise
right.
ship?
So, with Carnival, they don't have actual conference rooms, but they do have space that is not being used during the day, i.e., lounges and other,
Yep, and
private
most of I
areas.
know Norwegian has the same thing.
Okay. And so I've never been on Norwegian, so I can't speak to that. But on Carnival, they will allow you to use those rooms for free. You do have to pay a minimal charge, like $25, if you want to use their screen and projector and microphone, and they'll
Oh,
set it all up for you, which is great, minimal. And the thing is, before you can actually reserve a room and have that in writing, you have to have sold 10 cabins.
okay.
Okay. And then once you have sold, booked with deposits 10 cabins, then they will reserve a private room for your conference. And that can be for the entire length of the cruise. You set up the days. Then you get, as a group, you get group amenity points or GAP points.
Okay.
The more people you have in attendance, the more GAP points you receive. And so with the GAP points, you have quite a few things you can select from. Pretty much freebies. One of those could be a complimentary happy hour / party that lasts like an hour. Bless you. You could have a bottle of champagne or wine as a gift in the room for the guests when they arrive. You can have a plate of chocolate strawberries. I think one of those might be a bathrobe, and there's a few other things. On Royal Caribbean, they had an actual conference room that was state of the art, and it was amazing. I loved that. It was really nice. But people complained that it wasn't a party ship. And so it just really just know your audience. And if your audience is not really into partying, if they're an older group, then it doesn't matter if it's Carnival. It could be Norwegian, it could be
Royal.
So let's talk about
all of the cruise lines have their loyalty points. So so people usually are loyal to whoever they cruise with the most.
Right. So let's talk about other perks of being a group organizer on cruises.
Yes.
So one of the perks is you have absolutely zero financial risk. Okay. There to me, there's a lot of benefits. And so as the group organizer, I've already talked about how to get a free conference room. Then if you'd like to earn a free cruise or a free half a cruise, like half of a cabin paid for, that's called tour conductor credits. That's travel agent lingo. Of course, the cabins they call a berth, BERTH, not BIRTH. So let's say that you have, first of all, you have to sell 8 berths or cabins in order to receive a half of a cabin for free. Okay, so that means everything's based on double occupancy. So if you and your husband or you and your friend are going together, then one of you would pay and the other would not. Or you could just both split it and give a discount.
Right. And taxes, fees, and gratuities still need to be paid. We need that. Yeah.
Which those are not that expensive.
No.
Then if you sell 16 cabins, you get a free comparable cabin. So what that means in plain English, if you sell 16 cabins and 9 of those are ocean view and 3 are balcony, and let's see, what did I say? Okay, 9, 3, 12, and 6 of them are balcony. You're gonna, since you sold the most ocean views, then they're gonna give you a free ocean view. Okay, so whatever you sold the most of is the one that you're gonna get for free.
Yeah, they like average out the credit you're gonna get.
And so you would pay the taxes, the port fees and taxes, and then you would pay the gratuity, which is what, about $12 a day?
Yeah, 12 to 14, depending on the cruise line and the number of cabins. Tour conductor credits, that varies between cruise lines also.
And another good thing is if you schedule your cruise early enough, then your it's more advantageous to uh, your attendees because they can actually make monthly payments. The,
Right.
the not deductible.
Like
The
a vacation
deposit
club.
is $250. On Carnival, you have to have the final payment within 90 days of sailing. And so you can see, whereas if you plan it way in advance, they have plenty of time to pay for it. You have plenty of time to market it.
Yep.
And the other thing is, I don't know from a travel agent perspective, Vicky can speak to this. Um, I do realize that if you wait for the last minute deals, you get a better price, but that's uh, not even doable when you're planning a cruise, a group trip. Not you. People are not going to uproot everything, close down their business, or be able to take off work at last minute. So you have to plan. People have to put in for their vacation. So when you're doing a group, you have to think way in advance,
Right.
and there are
And,
benefits to
and some of
that.
those cruises sell out, so you can't really depend on those on those lower cost fares at the end.
Here's
You never
another huge thing that we learned. So let's go back to Carnival and all the diehard Carnival fans. You're always going to have, for lack of a better word, the know-it-all, the cruise expert. Okay, that's going to say, "Oh well, I booked the cruise through my travel agent." Well, when you're in a group, you all have to book through the same travel agent because the group is assigned a number. And if you want to reap the benefits of the group amenity points, they have to be booked as a part of your group. They can't go rogue and say, "Well, I got a better price from my agent." Well, look, that's fine if you want to go on an individual cruise. But if you want to be a part of our group, you must book through our agent to be included. So they would not be sitting with you, they would not be a part of the free cocktail party. And so you really need to drill that into their brain. Yes, we know some people may be a frequent flyer on Carnival, frequent cruiser, and you can still, get your discounts or upgrades, but you still need to book through our agent, okay?
right.
Because they
Yeah.
may
And
be
you just need to
loyalty
give
to their own agent.
your
That
number to your agent, and
that is, I mean, imperative, right?
yep,
Oh,
so that you're so that you're a group. It
okay. So
bonds
here's,
you together. You need to be
I don't
bonded.
know if this is the last thing, but this is a very important thing to consider. Not mandatory, but it's very important. So, if you want to give away swag bags, any type of freebies, like we always have cruise T-shirts, with the year and the everybody's name on the back, kind of like a senior T-shirt. The cruise logo's on the front. Everybody that's going is on the back, so it's a keepsake. If you want to be able to give away stuff like that, have really nice lanyards, uh, print, an itinerary, a brochure, that's, full color printed on, you know, um, really nice paper. You're going to have some kind of budget. And unless you want to pay for that out of your pocket, you might need to charge a conference fee or a separate fee. Depending on who your travel agent is, you can sometimes work that into the price of the cruise and either just up the amount of the cruise and that $100 or that 50 extra dollars will go to you once everybody's made their final payment. So I think we charged $100. Then you're going to get people come to you and say, "Well, I'm bringing my husband. He really don't want to attend the conference." Does he have to pay the $100? I think it's just easier if you just kind of build it into the price so you don't get the people saying, well, he's not going to attend. You know they're going to want to attend a free cocktail party. They're not going to be sitting back in the room. So it's just less of a headache if you just say it's $100, or just don't even tell them, just build it into the price.
Yeah, yeah.
And just
Be flexible, however you want to run it. You can also reach out to potential sponsors.
yes. Now there's a whole nother can of worms. That is a numbers game. So as soon as you start contacting sponsors, they're going to go, oh, well, that sounds like fun. How many people are you going to have? Well, when you say, well, we've got 6 cabins booked, i.e., 12 people, they're going to go, is that cost effective? ROI, return on investment.
Right.
So you can't get sponsors until you have warm bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, when you're thinking about speakers, uh, not everybody, is booking a cruise because of the speakers. We learned that the hard way. Although sometimes, it is a draw. But I think people go on cruises because they like to go on cruises. They like to hang out. They like the ocean. And the other stuff is just gravy. The classes, and you can write it off on your taxes. I'm not a CPA, but you can write
But we
all
did pay as a speaker 1 year.
right from Outright or GoDaddy bookkeeping. So there are, tax benefits, but you need to discuss that with your lawyer. So that's if it's a conference. Okay, so that would be a business expense. So again, you don't pay anything for the conference room. You don't pay a deposit. You don't pay for the lodging, and everybody's room and food, unlimited food, is included in the price of the conference. And where else can they go to where all of that's included? Most people have to pay for their food, their hotel rooms, and the conference. And the conferences, I mean, a cheap conference is about $300.
Right. A lot of them have a minimum food budget of like 5 grand before they'll even talk to you.
Exactly. And so, I mean, it is a really good bargain for everybody. You know,
And from the cruise staff that they're there to help. Like if there's any issues or problems, you have a boat full of people that are there to help you, and you're not on your own. And
right.
you don't even well if you're the organizer you're going to be there, but like as a travel agent I don't even have to be there because I know that the
Right. And
staff.
if you think about it, most conferences, as soon as the conference is over, you got the clicks. This click's going to this restaurant, and this click's going to that restaurant. Well, on a cruise conference, we're all there together. There's not really any cliques. We all eat together. Now, granted, some people are gamblers, some people, are bingo players, some people just want to do karaoke. But the ship is so that little small city, and so people. Oh, and the some people may look at this as a, a detriment. Vicky and I look at it as a benefit. You're unplugged. So you actually have to talk to people and look at them in the eye, and not everybody is doing this crap. It's like this. It's like you actually have real conversations,
Yeah. Even
and you don't have
if
to compete with
even
cell phones.
yeah, even if you have the Wi-Fi package on the ship, it's like the old days of AOL. It's very,
Yeah.
very slow.
And so it's really an unusual experience.
Yeah,
You know,
it's really nice to unplug for a week every now and then. And when you get to the islands, you can, as you can usually log on. Like in Mexico, you can usually log on and get free Wi-Fi.
right. So,
Something like
uh, there's just a host of benefits, and I really can't think of any downside to it because
that.
I don't think it's really for what you're getting. I don't think it's that expensive. And if you do your homework and have a good travel agent, you can get some really amazing deals going to some incredible locations. I mean, that sell itself. I mean, it's like, why
Right,
would you not go on a cruise, whether you like this topic or not? Just go on it, and hang out with all the fun people. So I
right.
have found that to be, I mean, it's like hard to think about having a conference anywhere else after you've done a cruise. Now we've had uh, headliners, okay, in the past. And, some of them wanted their rooms paid for. So we had to
Well,
sell,
we would offer to pay for them to
yeah, well, in order to get them,
get
you
them.
had to pay for their room. And that didn't really pan out as we thought. We thought if we got a really amazing headliner that we would just have people beating down the doors to book the cruise. And it didn't work out that way.
No.
We ended up having to pay for our own cruises because it cost so much to pay, for the headliner and stuff. So
Right.
I,
But still, we didn't have a conference room expense.
yeah,
So,
look, I think the trick is to look for speakers who have something to gain by a captive audience for 5 or 7 full days. And when I say something to gain, find someone that has a course to promote, a book that they just launched, um, and or a website or a software, something that would benefit the audience and that they would benefit from, and then they can justify paying for
right,
their own cruise. You see
right,
what I'm saying? And
right.
that's an absolute tax write-off because they're going there, you know, to speak for free and to market their widget or whatever it is.
And
So
I
it's
would and I
win-win for
would say
everyone.
maybe have more of an agreement with the speakers and have more of a program set up to get them to share with their audience.
Right.
Because a lot of if you lack in that aspect and their audience they don't even know that they're going to be on a cruise ship, you want to make sure that you provide them, with like, here's an easy link to share with your group, and that's gonna sell a lot more cabins.
Right. And do videos, do Facebook Lives
Yep.
to really, generate a lot of excitement and interest. That works really well. Everything's about video nowadays.
Yeah.
Start your own Facebook group dedicated just to the cruise or to the conference. And if you're going to do a conference, find a really, killer destination and all inclusive, has a lot to offer.
Yeah.
None of those throughout the Caribbean that you could
You know,
look
you
at.
know, Facebook makes it easy now to run Facebook polls. Maybe we should run a Facebook poll in our C-commerce group and
I
just
think that's a great idea.
put it out there and say, hey, where you want to go? You want to go to West Coast, East Coast, New Orleans?
Let's do that.
Okay, Galveston. That's another good port.
Yeah. So let's do that, Vicky.
All
Now
right.
let's make that our goal. I have to do my taxes on Sunday, but it only take 5 minutes to do a poll. So let's do that in the next couple days.
That sounds good to me. So, well, thank you so much, Steph.
You're welcome.
I know this will help, and I can share it with some of my people that I've been talking to about group
Okay.
cruises. And
Well, I hope that that they can benefit from some of the information. And if I left anything out, I'm sure you can answer it, or you can always give them my
yeah,
email, and
And if
have
any
them
of them
contact
are
me.
in the Dallas area and they want to learn about what you've got going on there, because you're involved in the Dallas area in a lot of different meetups. You do a social media meetup group. You have the eBay.
Poshmark, I have a Poshmark mastermind group, and which is brand new, and then I have my e-commerce group.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks again. Hang
Okay.
on. I'm going to go ahead and stop the broadcast. So I'll say bye, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thank you, Stephanie,
You're
and
welcome.
we'll be
It was a
talking
pleasure.
soon.